The doors to the AGT stage slide open, and immediately the air feels different, quieter, heavier, as if the entire auditorium is unknowingly preparing for something powerful. A small Filipino boy steps forward, his shoulders slightly hunched, his clothes simple and worn, but his eyes filled with something that makes the crowd lean in. It's the kind of moment where everyone senses a story before a single word is spoken, and without realizing it, thousands of people stop breathing at the same time. Because they can feel it, this kid is carrying something deep. He walks slowly toward the center of the stage, each step measured, almost unsure. The bright lights are too big for him, the stage too wide, yet he stands there holding the microphone like it's the only familiar thing in a world that suddenly feels too loud. Simon notices immediately. His expression softens. Not the usual smirk, not the usual sharp stare, something gentler, as if this boy has already disarmed him without even trying. Simon leans in. "Hey, little man, what's your name?" The boy lifts the microphone with both trembling hands. "Jiro, from the Philippines." His accent is faint but warm, and the entire room shifts as though his voice alone pulled everyone closer. Heidi smiles, but even she senses something fragile in him. "How old are you, sweetheart?" 14, he whispers, eyes dropping to the floor for a second. But it's the next sentence that cracks the entire room open. "I used to sing with my papa, before he passed away." A gasp rolls through the audience. Jiro swallows hard, trying not to break. He grips the microphone tighter, his small fingers almost shaking. The judges feel it instantly. This audition isn't just about talent. It's about a boy standing on a stage built for giants, trying to honor the person he loved most. Sophia whispers, "Oh my God." And the cameras capture tears forming in the crowd. People aren't just watching, they're emotionally hooked, tied to this boy's story. Simon's voice softens, almost fatherly. "And what are you singing today, Jiro?" He looks up, and in that moment his eyes shine with a mix of pain and bravery. "My papa's favorite. Hotel California." The audience reacts, stunned, curious, nervous for him. Hotel California is a monster of a song, a legendary track that grown men struggle with. And now, a fragile 14-year-old is standing on the world's biggest stage attempting it. For his father. Simon takes a breath, trying to read the boy's courage. "Why that song?" Jiro answers with a fragile honesty that seems too heavy for his age. "He always told me, when you sing this, you're never alone. So, I want to sing it here, so he can hear me." A silence falls over the room. A real silence. Not the pretend kind, not the staged kind. This one is filled with emotion. Raw, quiet, reverent. The stage lights dim slightly, leaving a warm, golden glow around the boy. He closes his eyes before the music starts, and you can see him breathing deeply, almost like he's calling someone or centering himself in memories only he knows. Then the first note hits, soft, gentle. The guitar intro echoes through the theater like a ghost from the past, and all the noise disappears. The crowd leans in, even the judges freeze, waiting, hoping, not sure what to expect. Jiro opens his mouth. What comes out is not the voice of a nervous boy. It's something pure, something honest, something cracked just enough to feel painfully real. His tone is smooth but trembling at the edges, like he's pouring emotion straight from a wound he hasn't fully healed. The audience doesn't blink. From the very first line, people are drawn in, captured, unable to look away. His voice carries a softness that hurts to listen to, a sadness wrapped in innocence. And yet there is strength beneath it, a strength born not from confidence, but from love. The boy who walked in trembling transforms right in front of them. With every word, he steps closer to the memory of his father. The stage lights dim further, framing him like a silhouette made of emotion and light. By the time he reaches the second verse, people are already wiping their eyes. Something about his voice feels like a story, a message, a goodbye, and a promise all at once. He's not just singing the song, he's living it. And without realizing it, the world is already hooked, waiting for what happens next, knowing, deep down, this is not just another audition. This is the beginning of a moment the world will never forget. The moment Jiro enters the chorus, the entire room shifts as if a wave of emotion sweeps through the theater. His voice, still soft and young, suddenly blooms with a depth that shouldn't be possible for a boy his age. It's the kind of voice that makes people stop and listen, the kind that carries stories, heartbreak, and memories far older than the singer himself. Each note feels fragile, trembling, yet impossibly powerful. It's not polished, it's not perfect, but it's real, so real that it hurts. As he sings the line "such a lovely place," his voice thins out for a millisecond, cracking with raw emotion, and that single imperfection is what breaks the audience. A woman in the front row presses a hand to her mouth, tears already streaming. A man in the back wipes his eyes with the sleeve of his jacket, embarrassed but unable to stop himself. It's the kind of moment where even the strongest people crumble. The camera zooms in on Simon. His expression has transformed from curiosity to shock, then to something gentler, something rarely seen from him, quiet awe. His eyes narrow as he listens more closely, trying to understand how this small boy is producing a sound so haunting it feels like it's coming from a memory, not a voice. Next to him, Heidi's eyes are glassy. Sophia's hand is pressed to her chest, and Howie is leaning forward, elbows on the table, as if drawn in by an invisible force. Jiro, eyes closed, lifts his chin slightly as he reaches the second chorus. His fingers tighten around the microphone like he's gripping onto something he's afraid to lose. His body isn't still. His shoulders move as he breathes deeply, fighting against the weight of the emotion that threatens to overwhelm him. But he doesn't stop. He doesn't pull back. He pushes forward. And when he sings, you can check out any time you like. His voice breaks, not in a way that ruins the moment, but in a way that makes it unforgettable. The crack is the sound of grief, the sound of a memory, the sound of a boy calling out to his father through a song. The crowd reacts instantly. A ripple of emotion spreads like electricity. People gasp. A woman in the balcony quietly sobs. Another holds her partner's hand tightly, both trembling. Jiro opens his eyes for the first time mid-performance. Tears shine in them, but he doesn't let them fall. His gaze isn't on the judges or the crowd. It's somewhere higher, somewhere far beyond the lights. Almost like he's searching for his father in the rafters. The camera catches this moment. The entire world watching at home will feel it. A child standing on a giant stage, singing not for fame, not for applause, but for love. As he enters the final verse, the music softens behind him, letting his voice take over completely. He no longer sounds like a contestant. He sounds like a storyteller, a soul pouring itself out in real time. His Odie starts trembling, his voice shaking as he sings the emotional lines. The judges watch him like they're witnessing something fragile unfolding, a moment that feels too delicate, too personal, almost sacred. The lights on the stage begin to shift, turning gold behind him, wrapping his small figure in a warm halo. It makes him look almost ethereal, like he's glowing with the memories he carries inside him. The audience slowly begins to rise to their feet, one row after another, as if lifted by the sheer emotion of his voice. By the time he reaches the very last line, you could hear a pin drop. The world has gone quiet. Jiro holds the final note longer than anyone expects. Not loud, not dramatic, just soft, trembling, full of meaning. The moment the note fades into silence, Jiro's shoulders drop as though he just put down a burden he's carried for years. He lowers the microphone slowly, like he's scared to break the silence. Then the crowd erupts. A wall of sound explodes around him. Cheers, cries, applause, people screaming his name. Some shout "golden buzzer," while others simply cry, unable to put the moment into words. Jiro stands frozen, overwhelmed, chest rising and falling rapidly. He looks around with wide eyes, unsure how to absorb the tsunami of emotion that the world is throwing at him. The judges rise to their feet. The crowd rises higher. The moment rises into something unforgettable. What began as a nervous child singing for his father has become a romance that will echo across the world. The theater is still shaking with applause when the last note disappears, but Jiro stands completely still at the center of the stage. His hands hang at his sides, trembling. His chest rises and falls in shallow breaths, overwhelmed by everything he's feeling and everything he just released into the room. For a moment, he looks like he doesn't know what to do. Like the noise, the cheering, the crying, all of it feels too big for him to hold. But the audience doesn't stop. They cheer louder, rising to their feet in a wave of emotion that sweeps through the entire auditorium. Some are crying openly, others clapping so hard their hands turn red. A few people simply stand with their hands over their hearts, speechless. It's the purest kind of standing ovation, the one that comes from instinct, from being moved in a way you didn't expect. Jiro takes a small step backward, stunned. He blinks several times, trying to clear the tears that finally spill down his cheeks. He wipes them with the back of his hand, but more fall instantly. This moment, this uproar, feels unreal to him. For years, his voice echoed on quiet streets, in small corners, in broken places. Now it echoes across one of the biggest stages in the world. Sophia is the first judge to speak, her voice cracking. Jiro, sweetheart, that wasn't just a performance. That was your heart. That was your soul. We all felt your father tonight. Every single one of us. The audience cheers a gah. In, louder. Heidi leans toward her microphone, emotional. I've watched so many singers on this stage, but you're different. You brought a kind of purity that's so rare. Your voice is beautiful, but your story, your courage, makes it unforgettable. Howie nods, wiping the corner of his eye. I think people at home right now are crying. I think the whole world will cry. What you did tonight, it was more than singing, it was healing, it was brave. Your father would be incredibly proud. Jiro's lips tremble and he whispers, "Thank you," but the microphone barely catches it. Then all eyes turn to Simon. The room shifts. The energy thickens. Everyone knows this is the moment that matters the most. Simon sits perfectly still, hands clasped together, staring at Jiro with an expression that no one can fully read. Not cold, not shocked. Something deeper, something heavy. The audience quiets, waiting for his words. When he finally speaks, his voice is softer than usual, lower, almost reverent. Jiro, he begins, I don't think I've ever felt something like that in my life. The audience gasps. Simon doesn't say things like this lightly. You walked out here so nervous, so unsure, and then you opened your mouth and it was like the world stopped. Your voice, it wasn't just singing. It was pain, it was love, it was everything you've gone through. He pauses, eyes shimmering slightly, not tears, but something close. And I want you to know something. Simon continues. Your father heard you tonight. I promise you that. Jiro's face crumples. Tears fall freely as he covers his mouth with his hands. The auditorium is silent, no cheering, no clapping, just breathless emotion. Simon stands. The moment he rises from his chair, the audience erupts again because they know what's coming. The golden buzzer isn't just a reward, it's a declaration. It's the world saying this is a moment we'll never forget. Simon steps around the judge's desk and walks toward the golden buzzer. He looks down at it for a second, then looks back at Jiro. You deserve the world to hear you, he says softly. And this is for you and your dad. He slams his hand down. The golden buzzer explodes. A brilliant shower of gold rains from the ceiling, confetti falling like angel feathers, swirling around the boy who sang for the father he lost. The music swells, the crowd screams, and Jiro drops to his knees as if the weight of everything finally becomes too much. He cries openly, shoulders shaking. He looks up through the storm of gold, whispering, "Papa! Papa!" The judges rush the stage. Heidi hugs him, Sophia touches his cheek, Howie pats his back, and Simon kneels beside him, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. The moment feels sacred, like a story being written right in front of everyone's eyes. The confetti keeps falling, the crowd keeps screaming, and somewhere in that golden storm, a young Filipino boy finds his voice, his courage, and his father's memory shining brighter than ever. It's the kind of moment that doesn't just go viral, it becomes legendary.